Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Politdigm podcast. My name is Red, and today I'm joined by my co-host Alpha.
Hello, everyone.
Almost had a bit of a stutter there. Today is the 25th of September. It's a Monday, and as always, today a new blog came out. This week it was my turn to write it. I wrote it about something that is, I wouldn't say it's close to my heart, but it's definitely something that I care about and something that I have a lot of almost like, how would I explain it? Um, shit, I don't remember the
You're
word.
alone in this. I have no idea what's going through your head.
Like it, it's like,
Personal?
hold on.
You cherish it.
Yeah, it's like it's something that I cherish very much because I know how important it is, and because I have so many friends close to me that that have sort of expressed how important they felt like this topic is to their lives and how much it has helped them or how they wish they had it at an earlier age. That I really wanted to talk about it, and I actually bring some examples today about some people that that are close to me. Of course, I got their consent to talk about this. I'm not gonna be talking about their personal lives without asking them. Of course, they did say like certain shit to talk about, certain other shit not to talk about. So
Yeah, don't
it's gonna
dox
be
me, please.
so I won't be exposing anybody in a way that they don't feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of things that help, to help us, you should check out our Patreon.
Exactly. You should check out our Patreon. Of course, if you support us there, you'll get a special little tier toward Discord. But however, you don't need to pay our in our. I had a stroke there. I'm so sorry. I am very tired. I've had a long day. We keep it authentic here at Paul Time. We keep our strokes and mental disorders. No, not disorders. Just
So
mental.
if you buy, you can buy our
Oh,
Patreon and be
what he
part
said.
of the special part of Discord.
Yep.
However, since we care very much about our community, we have also opened a section of our Discord for free. You can join it at the links on our YouTube page. And do we have it on anywhere else?
What? I completely zoned out. What were you talking about?
Links for the Discord, you
Oh yeah,
dummy.
shit. I'm sorry. I have I mentioned that I've had a long day. Well, if you are on YouTube, which apparently most of our viewers seem to be, last podcast popped the hell off. So thank you for all the support on the last episode. If you are on YouTube, you can go into our description. It will be the second link, I believe. And if you are listening to this on streaming platforms, then go to our website or go to any of our social medias. To do that, simply search Politdigm on Google or on any social media platform, and you should find our website or social media accounts. And there you'll find our links to everything that you could possibly want. So make sure to do that. Make sure to join our community so you can engage with us, and most importantly, so that you can, if you are part of the Patreon, if you support us on Patreon, you also get access to our weekly Q&A that we do during the podcast, which will be at the end of each episode. So, with
Which,
that
of course,
said,
is part of the Discord server.
yes, it's like a little channel there where you can submit questions, and then we'll do our best in responding to them or simply being like, "Hey, we don't know, but we'd love to search or to educate ourselves on this topic, and then bring it to you the next episode."
That is
So,
always specific. To the blog.
to the blog. So, to start off, uh, of course, the topic of this week is representation. I first of all, the reason I wanted to talk about this is, well, for the one reason is what I already talked about, is how I feel that it's something that is important to a lot of people, and in ways has also been important to me, but definitely not as important to others, because I have a relatively privileged position in life, as a white person, and so
A healthy, high middle class white person.
exactly. So there's definitely that. But however, I definitely feel like there's a lot of importance to it, and seeing how happy representation can make people, definitely I definitely have like a soft spot for it, and it kind of warms my heart to see, hearing about stories or seeing, representation changed people's lives in meaningful and important ways. An example that I wanted to talk about is, for example, well, it's a story that I saw, I don't even know, maybe a year or two ago, which was, I believe, was a black girl, a little black girl who saw a black character. I think it was a woman on TV. I don't know if remember if it was like a Disney show or a um, a superhero show. I'm not sure what it was anymore, but I do remember this one very important example, or this very important moment,
I
which
know
was
what you're
her,
talking about. It
which
was
was
for the trailer for the Little Mermaid live
oh
action.
yeah, it was it's true, it's true. And it was her looking at the TV, basically pointing at it, looking back at their parents and be like, look, it's me. And it's moments like that where you're like, holy shit, like that is so, I mean, it makes me almost like, it brings tears to my eyes, because it's like such a heartwarming moment of like seeing how happy and hopeful this kid is, just for seeing somebody like them, somebody represent, who they are on TV. It's something that's so great. And it was stuff like that that really inspired me to write this blog. Another thing which inspired me, which was that I randomly recently watched the Blue Beetle movie, where it was written and directed by I believe two Latino writer directors, and it really had the movie really had an authentic feeling when it came to representing a Latino family. And whilst I don't really relate to that in any way, it felt heartwarming, because I saw it and I kind of started thinking about it. Like, whilst this movie is hypothetically not made for me in that sense, I can see how to a lot of people this might mean, like, this can be very important for a kid who has grown up seeing superhero movies and then suddenly sees a superhero which, has a relatively similar family to them, and has, a culture that is similar to them, and then sees them do great things and be a great superhero, can really ignite this passion and like hope in children. And that thought was kind of what made me go, hey, I should write a blog about this. That was the main thing that really spiked this
Yeah.
this blog. And so I kind of went with it. I then started, I didn't really do much research, if I'm going to be totally honest, because there's not much research. Like, there's not like scientific research you can really do. I mean, of course you can. There's psychological. There's, that's not what I meant. Fuck, what's the word? Uh,
Psychoanalysis? I don't know.
no, there's a psychology. That's what I meant. What the fuck is wrong with me today? There's like psychology, articles and like stuff about like kind of analyzing the impact, or more sociology, like kind of studying the impact that the sort of what represent how representation can impact people. Now, I do have to mention, which is something that I very much talk about in the blog, which is the contrast between good representation and bad representation.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was going to ask you about. Do you think there is such a thing as bad representation?
Well,
Because
yeah,
I sure should do.
I do. Before I do say that, I do have to say, which, funnily enough, before 1 or 2 days ago, I did actually, between me writing it and then launching the blog today, I did actually watch a video about this, and somebody talked about how good representation or positive representation, that concept is also very sort of open to interpretation, and I kind of have to agree with that. So that's kind of a little bit of a correction to the blog in that way, but I do still stand by what the blog says, because it doesn't inherently go against what I'm about to say, which is that
Yeah.
for what some people, positive slash good representation can be bad representation for other people, right? You have to
Yeah.
keep in mind that everybody's different, so not everybody's going to feel equally like correctly
Represented.
represented by a certain aspect. However, there is a very important sort of like thing to keep in mind, is how you tackle doing that representation. Because in the past, there's been representation which was clearly, I wouldn't say clearly, or there was no, maybe there wasn't a clear intention of malice, but there was a clear, like, just like unapologetic sort of uh, just creation of characters that are very much based on stereotypes, not because they wanted to hurt a specific minority group, but because it was just what was popular or what would be
Yeah.
funny. And that very much is like, I feel like whilst good representation is a bit like, all right, we'll see, like it's not everybody will feel perfectly represented by this one character or this one show, etc. But I do feel like bad representation is pretty, there's certain bad representation that is very clear and cut, right?
Yeah.
um I think that an example that I brought into the blog was how for many years, and not, I wouldn't say, I definitely haven't seen in mainstream media or like movies or shows something that is like that, uh other than maybe like like stand-up comedy shows, which is kind of fucked, but if you are aware of it then you'll definitely have noticed it, which is like the representation that a trans woman is nothing else than a man in a dress, for example,
Oh yeah.
or that a trans man is nothing else than a woman with hair, or like a masculine woman, right?
It was in like the Hangover or something else. The second one where they go to
Yeah, that's yeah, there's definitely a lot of like, there's a lot of movies that like try to do edgy comedy, and that's like a weird, very weird, like,
like 4chan comedy.
I wouldn't even call it that. It's just like it's a very easy like joke to make, right?
Yeah,
It's a
like
very,
point at user, laugh at
yeah, it's
user
like
for
a point and like point and laugh, point and
unnecessary.
laugh. Look, they're different. They're different. They're weird. I don't like them. They're weird because I find them weird. When they're not, they're just they're just any, like any other person. Trans women and trans men, they're not weird and different. You just don't understand them, and therefore they make you uncomfortable. Therefore, you need to project
Yeah.
that like like just your ignorance into hatred. But that's
I
not
also
the
want
point
to, yeah,
of it.
like I,
Go
I
ahead.
also want to ask you about bad representation, because not going so far into the edgy comedy and something that might be harmful, we have I think a good example of not so good representation in a TV show, which was funny enough in the Witcher TV show, where the character Triss Marigold, which in the games is a smokingly hot redhead who has become a sex symbol in the last few years, was portrayed by the actress Anna Schaefer, which I think does a great job in her role. But she is an African American woman, if I'm not mistaken. She nope, she's English. The point is, she's not pale redhead, and the character is really different because she is not portrayed in the same way as an extremely sexually open and confident person, uh, which I think was also harmful. Like, one thing is you taking the Little Mermaid and casting the Little Mermaid with a black actress, an African American actress, and saying, "Oh, that's not correct." Like, it's Little Mermaid. Her character isn't fundamentally changed because of the actor or actress that you portrayed her in. But whenever you portray a certain character with an actor or an actress who's not only visual storytelling, but the way that they act doesn't meet the actual character just to meet a quota, I think is also bad representation. Like, for example, you had in the House of the Dragon, there was a whole royal house was cast with, basically, there were all the actors and actresses that played in that house were all basically uh, black actors, and they did an amazing job because their ethnicity was carved into the story. It was a focal aspect. It was elevated by it.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
that's good representation.
I think that I think the most important thing to keep in mind, when I think the one thing that defines what good representation is, and I think that good representation isn't defined by what is good, but rather what isn't bad,
Yeah.
in a way, which is to me just representation that doesn't create hatred, or doesn't create a stereotype, a false stereotype, or propagates an already existing bad
If the
stereotype.
people that are being represented are elevated by the representation, then it's good representation.
Yeah, and it's also like doing like being faithful to like, and when I mean being faithful, I don't mean to the source material, because fuck the source material. If you're doing like, if you're doing a movie or a TV show or whatever based on a book, unless like the writer like specifically asks you to like be super faithful, and if like and if it isn't like faithful to the original story, then I disown this, whatever, whatever. Sure, then whatever. But like if it's like, if it's just you trying to make your own sort of representation of the story, and you feel that it is necessary to change a character to make the story more rich or whatever the hell, or you just because you just found an actress which much more, if like was able to portray your vision of the story, then sure, go ahead.
Yeah, go
That's
for it. But
like
if that's
that's
not the case,
that's
well,
perfectly fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like in Little Mermaid, I
I
haven't
know.
watched the film. I couldn't. I don't give a shit about the film, if I'm going to be
This-
honest. But from my understanding, like it's just Little Mermaid. Like there's no, at no point, like there's a lot of like conservative people that were like making jokes about her. Like, look, oh look, it's Mermaid from the streets. She's about to start rapping. It's like, whoa,
Hey,
it's
yo, what the fuck?
like some
I
insane racist shit, right? So it's
I
like,
once someone sent me a video of a guy dressed as the Riddler on Omegle, saying something along the lines of they're loud and obnoxious. They like music and rhymes. They're half of the population commit half the crimes. Who am I? And the girl on the other side said, "You're a fucking racist." He says, "Wrong." It
whoa.
was so bad,
Jesus Christ.
beyond bad.
Anyways, back to what I was saying before. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that, for example, something that's been happening a lot, mostly in comedy, which is, for example, this idea of pointing and laughing at trans people. This is something that's been happening the last, I'd say, what, like year and a half.
Yeah.
And
Not
but other than that, generally when it comes to movies and TV shows, it's the stigma, not a stigma, that's not what I meant, but like the way that trans women are portrayed has changed, because in the past they were very much just displayed as uh like feminine men who dressed up as women and wanted to be called uh a woman's name, but they just weren't women. They were always like they would always get misgendered, or they were always like kind of the butt of the joke and stuff like that. And that's very much created a, I wouldn't say a stereotype, but very much created a false imagery of what, for example, trans women are for a generation. There's a whole generation, a whole older generation, which kind of got stuck to that image of like a trans woman is nothing else than this joke, nothing else other than this false like representation of what a trans woman is. Because at the end of the day, the people who wrote that never saw trans women as anything else other than somebody that was born a man and now wanted to be seen as a woman, but
yeah.
they themselves don't, they don't see those people as women, therefore their represent the way they represent trans women is not as an actual woman. And so inherently that's just bad representation, because you're not actually representing what those people are. You're not,
You're being harmful along the way.
yeah, you're being harmful to this entire community. You're being harmful to this entire demographic of people, which now are whoever watches those shows, at least, for example, at a young age, which don't understand what those concepts are, or even at an older age, and that's the first time you're being sort of exposed to the concept of a trans woman. That is immediately going to stain your view on trans women, and for a lot of people,
Yeah.
that sort of opinion is going to stay. That brings me on to one of the examples that I wanted to bring on, which is, for example, somebody that I know, me and Alpha know this person, which is um, a trans woman who, for example, for many years didn't really understand her feelings, and she has said to me, for example, that if she had really seen good representation of what a trans woman was, that she would have actually realized what the feeling she was feeling, or what they meant.
Yeah.
Because the moment where they went on YouTube, for example, and started watching content on what trans people were, because it just fascinated her in like this weird, like, kind of like, I wouldn't call it like morbid curiosity, but when you're like, oh, why is this interesting? Like, why do I find
Yeah.
this interesting? And
I
she,
vividly remember like searching on YouTube for content that I might send to her that she might relate with, and I wanted to look at like TED Talks or interviews, and most of what I could find was actual just garbage. It was just
yeah, because
edgy
like,
humor, and I didn't know what a trans man or trans woman was until I was way later into my teens, which is kind of worrying.
yeah, same. And so, um, she said that like basically when she started watching that type of content, that she like within a week suddenly like her whole like horizons were like broadened. She's like, holy shit,
I
this is what I
remember that
am.
week.
Like this is what I feel. And it's stories like that that like shows you, for example, which representation can also do, which is something that I talk about on the blog, which is this sort of guiding you to self-discovery, right? Mostly when it comes to the LGBT community, is definitely like a very prominent thing, which is you see somebody that has similar feelings to you or has the same feelings as you, and then you're suddenly like, oh, oh shit, that's me. Oh look, that's what I
Yeah.
feel.
And
Then
also, you can just help dispel stereotypes
exactly, and it's going to
and
normalize it.
misconceptions that people previous had of a certain demographic. Like, for example, I remember I was watching a TV show, How to Get Away with Murder. I was watching a TV show, and and I was shocked because there's a male gay character, which was the first male gay character that I saw ever that was fully confident of his sexuality and was an absolute stud.
Yeah, and it's so like it is very important for representation when it comes, for example, the queer community to be done like well, because queer people really do. I don't know. They really need it in a way because, like, if, let's say, for example, let's talk about representation in a very more common way. Something that a more common person, that is, a straight cisgender person could relate to, which is, for example, you're watching TV, you're watching a movie or see somebody on the news, and you see somebody, they're like, oh, this person has a cool life. Like, let's see, you're a small kid, and you suddenly are going through the TV channels, and you suddenly see somebody driving a car really fast, and you're like, oh, this is cool, I wish I could do this. And
Oh,
suddenly
I wish I could. Oh,
and so suddenly you're seeing somebody which represents what you like to do, what you love. You love cars, and you suddenly see that it is possible for somebody like you to drive a car for as your job. And you're suddenly like, you're like idolizing this person, and this person is like, in a way that's exactly the same thing that we're talking about, right? Is like seeing somebody you can look up to, seeing somebody that represents who you are as a person, who you can look up to. And it fills you with hope. It allows you to kind of figure out what you want from life. And it's something that's very important because it allows you to kind of, I don't know,
I have an old example.
go ahead.
Do you know what Birth of a Nation is?
Nope.
Okay. It's the movie that made the KKK start using burning crosses as signals. Basically, it was a movie of the 1930s, if not the late 1920s, which was beyond racist. The black man, who wasn't even a black man portrayed in the movie, was a guy painted with coal, was portrayed as animalistic, aggressive, and the Ku Klux Klan were portrayed as valiant knights of justice that defended the women that were being assaulted by these black men. Which is funny, because if you look at historical examples, if someone was assaulting someone, it was white men assaulting black women because they were their slaves.
Yeah.
But that's a whole movie set back the anti-racism movement in America for years.
Yeah, there's A
That
lot.
is not good representation. That is not representation. That is propaganda.
Yeah, like another thing. Speaking of women, another thing that I, for example, talked
No
about.
women.
Speaking of women or goddesses,
I have something to say
uh,
about women. Something
uh,
about women. Oh my god, that's an old reference.
but another thing that I talked about on the blog is, for example, an example uh, of women during the 19th and 20th century when women's rights, like activism, really started. When you would see prominent women going being reported on in the news on
When are we talking about?
huh
Uh, uh, re- Say again the date, please.
the 19th and 20th century,
I mean, 19th century.
like ends 18th century
No.
and 19th century.
N- Nah. Nah.
What?
Nah. Like 20th century, yeah, for sure. But 19th century.
No, I mean like
Nah.
the end of it. In the end of it, when sort of, I mean, with Karl Marx, with socialist ideas coming up, and the idea of the worker having more power within the workforce and being able to also, essentially getting what they deserve. They're definitely fostered a lot of like this idea that people actually have power in what they do. That's how unions started existing. That's what allowed people to fight for their rights. And I agree with you, but it definitely did slur. It very slowly, yes, at first, but it definitely was born in the end of the 19th century and then moved on to the 20th century.
I
Um,
mean, I'm thinking of the 19th century. And when it comes to feminist movement, nothing comes up. If I'm not mistaken, give me a second. I'm going to fact check you.
Right. Regardless, it definitely seeing powerful women, fighting for their rights and being there, showing that they themselves are able to do these amazing things. At the time, it was simply as showing that they could be equal to men. They
Oh, you're
didn't.
gonna love this. You're gonna love this. Try to guess where was the beginning, the supposed historical beginning of the feminist movement.
No clue.
Okay, it's apparently started with 1932 with the inception of the American Anti-Slavery Society, or AASS. Once again, women being based.
True. Um, But yeah, like for example, that's definitely a good example of kind of seeing somebody in your community or somebody that is similar to you for the first time,
Yeah.
uh kind of having a voice, right? Being able to voice their opinion without being censored or without being suppressed or less
Killed,
less than before. Uh
killed.
s- yeah, killed,
Let's not, I'm
etc.
not gonna forgive him for it to Martin Luther King.
etc., etc. It creates a movement. It creates how do I call it? I was gonna say a ruckus. I don't know why that's the word that came up to my mind, but it creates
Yeah,
everybody is like bothered by it in a way, right? Like I feel like a
yeah.
lot of people kind of forget what like a strike or what a um what like what's it called? Shit. God damn it. A protest. There we go. What a protest is, but like I feel like because I always see that on like TV or even when I'm talking or even when I hear people talking about it, we're like, oh, this protest is a real pain in the ass. It's like, yeah, that's what a fucking protest is. You dumb fuck. the whole
It's
point of a
supposed to be inconvenient,
the whole
so
point
you
of a
do something to
protest
change.
and like fighting like and strikes and like union
Exactly.
strikes, etc., is to stop shit, the normal flow of your day, or the normal flow of most people's day to change, to be stopped, to be fucked with, so that they show that these issues impact everybody's lives, and show
Yeah.
that if everything gets better, that will change, that will go away. That's the whole point of doing stuff like that. That's why I
Yeah.
find it funny when like now thankfully a little bit of a breaking news, not really, but I believe it was either this morning or last night that it seems like the Writers Guild of America finally got an agreement going
Let's
with the
go.
AMTP. Fuck that synonym, not a synonym. That's what I meant. What's the word?
The acronym.
Acronym.
Acronym. Acronym.
Acronym.
Acronym. Jesus Christ.
Jesus, we're so dyslexic. Holy crap.
We're so stupid. This is not our first language. In case you haven't figured it out yet.
But yeah, fuck that acronym and fuck them. Fuck them as a whole. Fuck all those companies.
I second
We're
that
burning a
opinion.
lot of bridges. Every podcast, we're burning like so many bridges. It's crazy. Um, and so that's a good example. But like, there's a lot of people like, oh, I'm not gonna get to see the movies and the shows I like. It's like, yeah, that's
That's the fucking point.
that's the whole point.
That's the idea.
The whole point is for these companies to lose millions, if not billions of dollars until they're like, oh shit, hold on. If we
Yeah.
don't do something, we are fucked. Like we have like they without them, without the writers, without the actors, pardon me, without the producers, etc. We are nothing without them. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of union strikes. That's the whole point of
You can't
coming
have a
together.
story if there is no script.
Yeah, like, and it's not just that, like it's the whole point of for example socialism, and kind of during
Here
the
we go
end,
again.
the socialism, let's go, at the end of the 19th century, is exactly that, is people were sick of being exploited, right? They were sick of being exploited, seeing the bourgeoisie being extremely rich and having complete power. And it's funny because like the bourgeoisie kind of was born out of wanting to end monarchies, and then here you have monarchy 2.0. And so it's like, we're sick of this shit, we want it to end, let's get a new thing. And then now the new thing is shit again, and we're sick of this, so we actually got to do something about it. And for the last, what is it, 150 years, we're still trying to do that. So good job, I
Yeah.
guess. Very
Okay.
slow process, but it's definitely, but yeah, it's the whole idea that, hey, your boss is a piece of shit, and your
I'm gonna
boss
represent him the right way in media by making him a fat man with a monocle who
sucking
wipes
on
his tears with dollar bills.
and sucking on the teeth of all his workers until they are dry and dying,
Yeah.
because they have nothing left. But yeah, like,
Because this podcast is about representation, we should go back into the fucking topic
yeah, but I mean, to be fair,
before you do.
there's not much more to talk about. But yeah, like, representation is important for many things,
Yeah.
because representation can empower people, can like kind of ignites self discovery, because you suddenly see something or see somebody that is similar to you, or has similar life experiences than you, or talks about their sort of their own way of seeing life, or their own philosophical opinions on life, etc. It can lead you to find, depending on who you are or what place you are in your life, can help you, find your own identity, either that being gender, either that being sexuality, or even, realizing that you are religious, for example, and kind of realizing that you need that in your life. Uh, it can help
Yeah.
you kind of good representation also, as you said before, slowly kills stereotypes, right? It's creating a new norm, it's creating a new way of seeing people, of like minority groups, and doing all these different things, and like being faithful to what these communities are, like being faithful to how a trans person truly feels. How does a trans
Or
person
or a
uh
black person,
how does a
how is their actual life, how they truly feel. Like, wasn't the whole point of Black Panther being one of the first, if not the first story about African people and black people being in power?
Yeah, like that's I mean that's one of that we actually have at the end of the blog if you would like to check out. We have five good examples in media of good representation, and Black Panther is one of them because at the time Black Panther was very much um
That movie slaps.
a groundbreaking thing,
A
right?
groundbreaking.
It was
Shit.
what
I'm so stupid. I thought you said a brown breaking, and I was like, what the fuck?
the fuck?
What is
Uh
wrong with me?
a very much a groundbreaking movie. Also, weird fun fact, something that kind of broke my heart for many reasons. But one of them, the one of like the only white guys in that movie.
Yeah.
What is I don't remember his first
He's
name,
a
but his
British actor, right?
yeah, his last name is Freeman. Like Morgan Freeman. What is his first name?
Yeah. I know who he
Uh
is. He played in Sherlock Holmes and stuff.
yeah, apparently he's like racist.
Uh,
Yeah, like he like in the past, not that far of a past, pretty recently, went on like some rants about like
I'm a fat check you. Give me a second.
people of color and stuff like that, which kind of broke my heart because I was like,
Give me
whoa,
1 second.
uh,
Martin Freeman.
yes,
Martin Freeman. Let's look at the news. Yo, no. What the hell? New. Oh, there's a new season of Sherlock incoming. Um.
wait, what?
Uh.
God, there's so many ad blockers. Holy shit.
Give me a
I mean, to be fair,
second.
they're probably not okay. The comments that he said probably weren't that recent, but they were. I was not expecting somebody like him
Like,
to.
I literally saw like all of the news up to 2021 of Martin Freeman. There's nothing on it. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yep. No. Mm, uh,
To
nope.
be fair, I could be wrong. I mean, I kind of
Yeah,
hope I am.
I hope you're wrong because holy shit. That is why would you take the role then? It's not like he was an established character, but I digress. By the way, speaking of philosophy, call me middle-aged white man named Dean Kamen. I'm going on a segue. Uh, a great example of representation that is old as fuck.
What?
You know what the term sapphic means, right?
Yes, yes, I do very well. Wait, did I say
You
that?
know where it comes from.
Yes, comes from the goddess Sappho,
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
from the island Lesbo.
No, are you dumb? No.
What?
Shit. No. It comes from the female poet, the actual person named Sappho, which was the only female poet in ancient Greece. Because women in ancient Greece, if you weren't in Sparta, were seen as like a couch for your house. It was an object. And
What?
she was the first, at the time, worldwide recognized, which means basically Greece and everything near it, female poet, which made absolute waves on the written world,
Which was
which
like,
was conducted primarily by men,
which
which
was
is
little waves.
horrible because we only have two fragments of her writings, one of which is her dying from thirst in a party.
That's oddly specific. Why did I think she was? I mean, I definitely know it was the island of Lesbos. That I know.
Yes,
Which
the
is
island of Lesbos.
which is why that's where the term lesbian comes from.
Yeah, but
Um,
what the fuck?
why
A
did I?
god? No,
I don't
this is
know.
way more badass.
I mean, if she, I mean, I don't know. Fucking Greeks were
A
weird.
god is made up. A real person exists
I don't know. I
or
don't know why.
existed.
I don't know why I thought that she was like a goddess for some reason. I mean, maybe
Holy
she.
shit!
I
Like
mean, maybe she
gods,
was
sure
in
as
a way.
shit were queer coded. For example, Athena was eternally virgin, and Artemis refused, pardon me, sexual relationships with men, and she was
It's,
surrounded by women all the time.
it's pretty gay.
So take that as you will. Apollo
So,
was gay as shit, and so were most Greek gods.
uh, yeah. I mean, I saw this meme yesterday, which was like, um, there's two type of Greek men, and it's like one's like a Spartan, right? It's like this huge, like buff, like armored man, and then on the side it's like this small, petite, feminine man, and it's like
What the fuck?
there's two a type of Greek men, and then it's like shows the two types, right? And then underneath it's like, and they're both gays.
You
Being
know,
like, no
you know
matter
the
what
movie
you do.
300, 300, right?
Yeah, but I've never watched it. I'm not into
Okay,
war
so
movies.
the Spartans. Okay, the Spartans did defend the part that they defend the movie, but it wasn't with 300 people. However, there was a small group of legendary soldiers in ancient Greece, which were absolutely an elite task force because they had something that no other force had. If I'm not mistaken, they were from Thebes, but the whole thing is that this army force was comprised of pairs of gay men who were lovers between themselves. So you had an older man and the younger man who were themselves lovers. And they fought in units. So whenever you were on the battlefield, you didn't just have a man at your side, you had your fucking husband. That's a good reason to fight a bit harder.
True.
And
True.
they absolutely wrecked the Spartans' shit.
Honest
But yeah,
Spartans fight alongside their husbands.
yeah. Also, the Spartans were feminist as fuck. They looked at you and said, I don't care what you have between your pants. Can you hold a fucking spear?
Fair
Like,
enough.
the goddess Aphrodite, which is a goddess of love, came from Sparta, and their first iteration was a war goddess, which, because they imported it from another goddess, which was older and was also war, yada yada yada. But yeah, the Spartans were a baller in their prime. I love Sparta.
Honestly, I never really got into that shit. I know, like, there's this. Yeah, I probably haven't seen it, but there's like this sort of new meme going around, which is like,
The Roman Empire.
asking, yeah, like asking men
Daily,
how often they think about
daily,
the Roman Empire. I'm like, what the fuck?
daily.
Why? Like, I don't get it. Like, I never think about
The
the
Roman
Roman Empire
Empire was fucking based, except for the
for all
parts that
the
weren't like slavery, but they
for
were
like almost
based.
everything they did, which was horrendous. Yeah, sure,
No, they didn't. That's the cool thing. Like,
bro. They
they
like.
weren't horrible, like nationalists. They were nationalists, but in the right ways.
I don't think you can be nationalist in any good way, but
It could be
uh,
whenever you say, I don't give a fuck who you are, you join my empire, you're one of me.
but that's not nationalism.
But you can keep your values, your
That's
land, I give you
that's
cool shit,
that's
like
just like
products and
colonialism.
farm. No, because they didn't colonize.
No, I mean they're like, yo,
Not
yo.
in that way.
It's like, yeah, but like it's like going to somebody's house and be like, hey, you can like keep living your life normally, but like I am the owner of your house now. You're gonna have to like worry about that.
It's not like that. It's like going to a neighborhood and saying, hello everyone, I'm the new landlord. And because I'm the new landlord, you have access to new water pumps for everyone. You have a personal gardener. I'm gonna teach you how to cook shit good. But you do gotta speak the same language as me.
And like try not to die from like lead poisoning. What was it? Lead was it mercury?
What? No,
The
that's the
pipes.
Chinese.
The pipes.
They didn't have
Yes, they did.
pipes. Give me a second.
And like the water irrigation systems, they like use like I think it was either lead or mercury. No, I think it was lead, and like they basically were just like poisoning themselves for like years, which is like one of the theories why they just eventually started getting really wacky.
Yeah, but you're gonna love this. It was proportional to the power and status of the class.
Oh yeah, so the richer you were, the goofier you were. That's
Yeah.
just a bunch of silly billies. But
But they
yeah,
give them things such as gout. But it's argued. I don't think it's a fact. Give me a second.
I mean,
Whether
I don't know
the
if it's a
ancient
fact, but
Romans'
like
copious use of metals in their civilization resulted in lead poisoning has been debated by classic scholars for centuries. New archaeological researches on skeletons from Roman era London has proven that many of these people were exposed to toxically high levels of lead. Yeah, but they had cool gods, and they, the gladiator, Joaquin Phoenix,
Bro,
my favorite Roman.
just
Fucking Joaquin.
some guy from the US.
Yeah,
But
he's playing Napoleon now.
yeah, that's a weird
I'm gonna
casting.
watch
I
that
mean, I
movie.
like it because it's like I like Joaquin Phoenix, but it's like there's so many French people you could have cast, and
That is an
cast an
example of
American guy.
bad representation. U.S. people in French
Yeah, it's
history.
like holy shit. Like there's so many European actors who like need jobs. Like it's like this huge meme in Europe that like if you're an actor, you're fucked, right?
Unless
Unless
you
you
go to
move
the U.S.
unless you go to the US or like the UK at its worst, right? And so it's like hilarious that's like you're having this entire movie about this huge fucking I mean, I wouldn't call it huge, but this really big deal of like a French
Bro, a
army.
huge. It's fucking huge. Look,
I
we
mean,
don't have kings because of that guy. Okay,
I
you
mean,
know Marx. You know Marxism. You know socialism. It started because of the fucking French.
I know, but like I do find it very funny. I told me one of like the funniest facts is like I mean it's that and like what happened in Russia, which is like they beheaded the French beheaded the fucking king, right? They were like, "Fuck a
Yeah,
monarchy, fuck this." But then like
and fuck you.
a couple years later, you're like, "Oh, look at this funny little imperialistic guy. I wonder what happens if we like give him power."
He
It's like
didn't give. He wasn't given
I
power. He
know,
seized power.
I know, but I'm like being joking, but like it's like you kind of let the same shit happen again, you dumb fucks.
And they
Like
fucking hated it.
it's like
That's why they sent him away.
it's like the difference between a fucking meatball and a fucking burger is the same shit, different shapes. Like it's like fucking hell.
That's a good way to put it.
Like you fucking beheaded the fucking king, and then a couple of years later, you have this 1 meter 70 fucker, which for some reason a lot of people make jokes about being short, but apparently he wasn't that short.
He's perfect average size. Fuck you.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he literally is like the average size of like a French person. I mean, at least at the
It was.
time.
The people said it was short in a way to try and like demystify him and
Yeah,
ridicule
yeah, yeah.
him because he was a fucking menace.
And it's like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell are you doing? It's like the same thing of like when the Russians had their their was it World War I when they had their
Yeah,
uh civil war. I don't know. I mean, they've had many civil wars, so maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one when they
the
like got
Bolsheviks and the
yeah, when they got rid of like their fucking
fuck,
king or whatever the fuck they
Tsar.
called it. They yeah, the czar, and then like a couple of years later, they're like being oppressed by another fucking authoritarian again. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't just go from one. You can go to like
Well, you do know that military coups literally
like
mostly end in authoritarian regimes.
it's
So
like stop ping ponging between fucking authoritarian regimes. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't end one and be like, like I was just stuck in a bear trap for like years, and now look, I got out of it, and oh look, this shiny thing that I'm putting my foot on. Oh shit, it's another one. It's like God, fucking stop putting your
it's like
foot.
a
And
chapter movie.
it's like, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, it's like comedic like tragedy. It's like, what the fuck? Like, how do you keep falling for this over and over again? God damn it! Like, what the fuck? You did it once.
Yeah.
Like, learn from your mistakes. That's why I find it so funny that like a country like Italy, for example, is now like stuck with a fucking fascist right wing
Who
fucking prime minister.
calls fucking Mussolini El Duce, but still she is a fucking weeb. She posts anime pictures on her Instagram timeline, and she's a fascist.
That makes it kind of worse in a way.
Yeah, she's stupid.
It's like what the fuck? Like how do you guys live through fucking Mussolini have years of like examples, many countries being like, oh, this is bad, and like, oh, we're gonna do it again. We're doing it again, and we're gonna like in 10 years we're gonna
Like
be
here
like,
in Portugal, we have the same thing with the rise of far right parties, even though
yeah,
we had a
like
dictatorship that
50
lasted
years ago.
decades.
No, 50.
Yeah,
Yeah,
50 years ago.
it's
It's
gonna be
gonna be
50
50 years
less.
or 51 to like
What this year or
next
last
year
year?
is gonna be 50 or 51. I don't know.
I think it's 51. I think it was
I don't
74. It
remember.
was 74. My mom is
Yeah,
currently
74. It's gonna be 50. Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be 50 because my mom was born in 74, so it's easy
Which
to
was,
remember.
by the way, a revolution with no kills,
Oh,
except for the side of the secret police, which shot 3 people in the street.
the most average Portugal moment.
We are so goaded, we don't need guns.
We just swear at each other and hurt each other's feelings. Um, but it's like it's so weird, like seeing countries kind of being stuck in this like loop of like the same bullshit. It's like it's some situations you understand it, like yeah, North Korea, no shit, like you know what I mean, like they're stuck in that shit because they're
Yeah,
in a
sometimes you don't have the
so
choice.
it's a
Like,
dictatorship. It's not a democracy. So like, of course they're stuck in that. But like, there's situations where like there's a revolution, and you like kind of sort of willingly put yourself in that situation again. It's like what the fuck? It's like it's as if like, pardon me. It's as if we in Portugal ended the fucking uh right wing like dictatorship, and then right away went into like another dictatorship afterwards.
no,
It's like
better yet, we killed our monarchy just to go into a dictatorship
yeah, we did do
after
that. We did
World
do
War
that.
One.
We did do that. We did like some fucker went like, "Yo, look, that's the king," and then was like, "Yo, yeet," and then fucking
Yo, that's his son. Yeet.
didn't like you shoot him in the fucking between the eyes or some shit, and then he's like his head puffed off. I don't remember.
I don't know. I know he was shot. It was like
Yeah,
1908, if I'm not mistaken.
maybe it was like shot in like some random street
No, no,
in
no. I think was it 1908 or 1910? Give me a
I
second.
don't fucking know. I can't.
Uh,
But all I know is like a motherfucker got popped. Well, Omi was dead, and then we're like, oh, fuck the
yeah, 1908.
monarchy.
The democracy was installed in 1910.
It's like fuck democracy. We're like
Yeah,
fuck the
which was in the capital, by the way,
monarchy.
because we coded like that.
We said in the democracy we become a republic. We did all this and that, and then like a couple
And
years
our
later,
governments were so shit that a president couldn't hold. He couldn't have his position for more than a couple of months
yeah, we had
without
to
someone
like
else
we
having to
had
come in.
we had to like redo democracy. Like we had to like rewrite democracy
And
like
constitution
like
for
a couple like a
budget
year.
purposes.
We did like shit. We had like what was like there's like wasn't there like a year we had like 3 different presidents or some shit like that? I don't even remember.
I would guess that we had more than
Fuck knows.
like we
It
had
was some
like a
funny
lot of
comedic shit.
presidents before World War One, and after World War One, where we also got fucked because we allied with the English. Um,
We always ally with the English, and then we always get bitten in the fucking ass, and yet we keep doing it. I don't know why.
money.
I know, but it's
Uh,
like it's so funny because like that's another thing. It's like in the past, like every time Portugal sides with England, England always tries to bite us in the ass afterwards, and they're like, "Oh wait, whoa, you're doing this again?" It's like, "Oh my
no, no,
god!"
no. But we get troops from them.
It's like,
Like
"Oh my god, you're trying to fuck us over again." This is so surprising. It's totally like that's not your whole thing.
like French invasions of Portugal. If I'm not mistaken, in the last round, the English came to help us, and then they just fucking stayed,
Yeah,
and
they're
we had to
like,
kick them out.
it's like, "Oh wait, you guys just wanted to help. You didn't want us to like invade you." It's like, I'm sorry, and then they like try to act as if nothing happened, and we're like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, thanks for the help. You can go back now. Who said anything about going back?
Yeah, it's like I
Oh
think it's
shit.
like go back, please. Like we're coming back from Brazil. Let us fucking. Anyways, what's happening?
Yeah, but I don't even know what happened to this podcast.
Yeah, we're very. I feel like I've said like 2 things that I've already regretted. My brain is broken and we're tired and holy shit. Uh, but yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about other exciting news other than weird little history repeating itself shit?
Uh, what new exciting news?
I think it was either yesterday or a couple days ago that that one capsule which gathered a material from an asteroid landed on Earth. So NASA is currently looking into analyzing the first samples of an asteroid, which was actually in space and not landed on Earth. Uh,
That's that's cool.
that's
That's
pretty.
pretty
That
cool.
was pretty cool, and that's also because I didn't know, but apparently that asteroid could be, I mean, is on track to hitting Earth, potentially hitting Earth in like 150
Yeah, yeah,
years, and
yeah.
it's like it's pretty massive. It's not
It's not a
extinction.
little guy.
It's not
It's a big boy.
mass extinction. Fucking hell, extinct. No,
Extinction.
Yeah, that size, but it's definitely like, oh yeah, that's gonna
I'm
live
probably gonna die, size.
that's gonna leave a nice little crater. It's not gonna actually. I hope it wouldn't kill anybody. But like, if it lands in a desert, everybody will be fine. If it lands in a fucking city, that's gonna cause some issues. But nothing that's gonna be like
Yeah.
catastrophic, from my understanding.
Question:
Um,
have you heard anything else on the news on the superconductor?
no, I'm pretty sure it just was a dead end, which is sad because if it
Uh,
weren't, it would have been like a huge. Uh, it would have been like, I don't know, like
huge.
you had like the discovery of electricity. You had the first step is on the moon, like, and this would have been like the next big step in like human like.
Revolution.
This has been like a huge
Technological
revolution. Like
revolution.
it'd be like the second or wherever the fuck the number is. Like it would have been a whole new industrial
It's second
revolution.
revolution. We are way past seconds. Don't worry.
So it's like it would have been a whole new industrial revolution because it would have really like revolutionized our like
Maybe the
every industry.
superconductor wasn't a bust, but because the industry relies on the fact that electricity overheats, they fucking shut down the research.
It's too conspiracy theory for me.
It's not for me. I have seen some weird shit.
No, I mean, there's no real. I mean, the amount of like. I mean, I highly doubt it because if you really think about it, it the existence of that superconductor would allow us to have a lot of the shit we currently have without harming the environment as much. So in a
Who
lot of
gives a shit?
cases,
People gain money from harming the environment.
no, because you would have
That
been
is
able
not a good. That is.
you would have been able to keep making the same money without now seeming like the bad guy. Right? Now
But
you
how? Like look at a company that produces fans
yeah.
for computers, and they look at
Mhm.
this and say, "Goofy, I don't like it."
I mean, but yeah, I mean, fuck it, that's not a big industry. What the fuck type of example is that?
That's a small portion of the industry. Imagine
I
if
know,
there
but
was.
like, yeah,
There,
sure,
there
but
is
like,
probably, if you look at the ramifications, there's probably some big ass company that has major profits in this sector
I know,
and would tank because without it.
but there would have been whole new industries developed on the whole basis of being able to create new technologies, which
That
would have
is
been
not a
considered.
good example. You know, us humans are incapable of seeing the future. We
Yeah,
only
but
care
like,
about present fucking
I
profit.
saw. I mean, one example would have been like we would have had immensely fast trains. Like if LK-99 would have been
Less
like
cars.
would
Less
have been
cars. Boom.
possible,
Automobile industry goes fucking down.
like you would have been able to have like immensely efficient like cars and immensely efficient transportation, like transportation when it comes to like huge distances, right? Like
And what about the New York Metro, huh?
I saw
I
fuck
got you now.
fuck the New York Metro. I saw this whole like plan. It wasn't a plan, but like this whole sort of like theory or like a concept, right? Which was like explaining that like if LK-99 was possible, like we could like completely just like fuck off with the existence of like planes like inside Europe. Like that would have been complete. Like planes would have become
That would have
like
been revolutionary
would
because
have
planes
become
are a huge pollutant.
like planes would have been completely pointless because we could make trains that were so fast to go from like Lisbon to Berlin that like you could go from Lisbon to Berlin in like half an hour with the train. So it's like you could do
How do you not die from the G-force on that?
because you don't accelerate like that. Fuck, it's a dumb question.
Well, that's not how it works. If you're going at 500 miles an hour, you still feel the effects of going 500 miles an hour. It's not
Not
just
not
acceleration.
if you stagnate at 500 miles an hour. You don't feel it. You don't feel like 9 Gs in like a second.
That's not that's it doesn't matter if you feel 9 Gs in a second. Like
If
that's
you're
not how it works. You know
like
the
you're on the
you
space
know
when you're on the
that
space station, you're going immensely fast and you feel completely
there's a
weightless.
difference. There's a difference. There's a difference. I know this because of fucking physics, but I'm so shit at physics. Come on, brain.
Like it's
How do I
if
explain this? It's different because of the way that the forces are acting upon you. Like when you're on the space station, you are not in direct contact with the surface of the planet. and you're not in direct contact with the space station
Yeah, because you're
either,
in free
and the
fall.
space station itself is moving according with the planet. It's not an independent system.
When you're on the space station, you're in constant free fall. That's what it's called. But like the
Yeah.
reality is, like if you would accelerate, let's say to Mach 2, right? Like the acceleration is what fucks you up. If you stay at
That's not just if you stay at Mach 2, you're still experiencing the G-force of going at Mach 2.
yeah, but it's not as bad as going from 0 to Mach 2.
Oh my fucking. Okay, sure, you win. I don't know about enough about this to talk you down.
Like you have been on your bike. You have accelerated from 0 to 100, right? Like the
No,
amount
my
of
back is my back is not that fast.
okay, what's up at this 90?
Yeah, sure.
All right, from 0 to 90, like the amount of force you feel from that 0 to 90 is way larger than if you just stayed at 90 for like 10 minutes. Like you're gonna feel jack shit. Yeah, you're gonna feel the wind, but that's wind
I
resistance.
still don't feel jack shit while accelerating
Yeah, your
0
bike
to
is
90
slow. We
because my
get it, Alpha.
acceleration is
Your bike
fucking
is
slow.
slow as fuck. We get it, Alpha. Yes, you feel wind resistance, of course, but that's when you're in a fucking train, you don't feel shit. I know this because
Okay, then
this
why do
year,
Formula One drivers lose so much fucking weight with each race?
because you're sweating like a motherfucker. What the fuck?
Why are they sweating?
Because it's hot as fuck.
That's not just you don't lose weight because you fucking sweat. Holy
Bro,
shit!
they're
That's
losing
not how
water weight.
human anatomy works.
That is how human anatomy
You
works.
don't lose weight in the summer because you fucking
Yes,
sweat.
if you sweat enough, you lose that much water weight, Alpha.
Holy shit!
Bro, I've literally seen I've literally seen interviews of fucking Formula 1 drivers explaining how they lose weight. How are
They're
you saying
Formula
this?
One drivers. They're not fucking biologists.
Yeah, but how do they not know how their body works in effects to their
You
fucking
know
race car?
that's a fallacy. You know that's a specific fallacy in philosophy.
Yeah, but like they are
Fuck you.
they're literally in a death machine that is going at sometimes at 300 kilometers an hour, which is
Exactly, it's the
blistering
G-force
fast.
experience while going at those speeds, not the fucking sweat.
Bro, okay, sure, whatever. Go ahead.
Oh my god.
That's
They
not
lose
that's
me.
not that's not how race cars work, but sure.
That's not how humans work.
Bro,
We are both wrong.
like you can lose 2 kgs of just water weight in an hour and a half of constant like driving at immense g forces. Of course, yeah, g forces is going to like have an effect on it, but that's not like if you just suddenly stop. If I was currently driving and I would do an emergency stop, I'm not going to lose like 300 grams unless I shit
That
myself.
would be okay. That would be actually amazing.
Unless I shit myself, there's no weight that's going to be lost. That's not what's causing it. When you reach a certain velocity and you stay at a certain velocity, your body does not feel that velocity. That is how speed works. I know because this summer when I was going to London, I went to London, by the way. Fun fact, great, I loved it. I didn't get stabbed. That's nice. I had to do the joke. I had to do the joke.
Big news.
I didn't get stabbed.
Big news.
Red didn't. You mean that? What the fuck would I have not noticed this? I mean, my feet were killing me, so maybe I did get stabbed.
You got stabbed in the ground. You just didn't notice.
The ground was stabbing me with little needles. Anyways, but like I
It
went in.
is London, so
I went on the Eurostar, right? You know what that is, right?
yeah.
It's a fast train, and at some point we were going at 300 kilometers an hour, right? That's fast. It's pretty fast. I mean, not crazy fast, but it's fast. I mean, it's not anywhere near the speed of sound, let's say, because the speed of sound is 343 meters per second. Meters, not kilometers, right? So it's fast. It's relatively fast.
340 or is it 430? Give me a second.
343 meters per second. That one I know for sure.
Speed of sound.
It's a number that I know very
Yeah,
well.
343. You're right.
I
I was thinking of something else.
I think I know the speed of light off the top of my head. I mean, if you want to be
Give it to me.
well, if you want to be very,
Holy shit.
if you want to round it down, you can like, yeah, it's 300 million meters per second. Sure, but that's not correct. It's 299, 879.
You're wrong.
some shit like that. I know those digits are there.
799 792 458.
Hey, I used to know it, but it's been a couple of years.
I used to know.
Bro, but it's fuck. What was I gonna say? Shit. Yeah, but I
I
went
don't
on a
know. I am
Eurostar, and then I
so
was on
beyond
there,
like
and I was going at 300 kilometers an hour, and I was sleeping like a baby, and I was not dying and losing 2 fucking kgs of fucking weight. Okay, Alpha. So
sure. Okay, you're right. I'm stupid.
I'm not saying
Fuck
you're
it.
stupid, but like I know what the fuck I'm
No, I'm
talking about.
saying I'm stupid.
Like I know what I'm talking about. You do not like, because like think about it. Like
How the fuck did I go through 5 years of physics
I
and I
don't know,
still
Alpha. I
and I
don't know. All your teachers keep roasting you, which I find so funny. Nobody knows. It's like the big. It's like question scientists will never be able to answer. Is how the fuck is this bastard like doing anything? And like is somehow the smartest guy in the room, but he's also the most dumbass motherfucker imaginable. Like holy shit.
I am not the
Ah.
smartest guy in the room. I can assure you
No,
that.
you're like the smartest and the dumbest at the same time, which is like
Uh,
impressive in its own way. It's like what the fuck? Like say some of the smartest shit, and it's like whoa, hold up, this guy has no brains, no thoughts, just pure mush, just pure. Anyways, this is blog real. This fuck this. I did it again. This podcast was weird. Really slowly became unhinged, and I don't know what the fuck happened. We apologize for our kind listeners if you have lost brain cells in the last 30 minutes, because that's when everything went to shit. We are not responsible for any brain injuries that may have occurred uh, during this hour, and we wish you the best of luck, and we wish to see you on the next episode. However, just to remind you again, don't forget to support us on Patreon. Maybe we can afford therapy so we can fix our brains for the next episode. And as I said before, join our Discord. And if you join the Discord and you're a part of the Patreon, you can submit questions to the Q&A, which will be answered. Well, would be answered right now if we actually have them.
yeah. You can just hang out, which is always cool.
Yeah, and you can talk to us. You can we have like these little chat rooms about random topics unrelated to shit that we usually talk about. I mean, it is technically related because we do talk about a lot of random shit, but like we have one about gaming, one about writing. Wait, fuck, is it are those the topics? I don't even remember anymore. They
Are the one that made
are
the fuck.
writers,
Oh,
gamers, drawing, and animal lovers. We can have
that
more.
doesn't sound good. You should change that.
Yeah, that's true. But like, it's just like pick. All we wanted was like share cute pictures of your dog. Because like for some reason
Where are all my sister lovers at?
because like oh god alpha because for some reason every server seems to have like a chat room where you just post random pictures of your pets and everybody just
I would post a random picture of my pets if I still have them.
damn really had to hit him with that one.
Next topic.
Next topic is we're ending the episode on that one. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Oh, alpha.
Okay, everyone. Have a
God
great night.
damn it.
Love your family and your pets. And see you next week.
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.